p.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM Umahia.
All Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
Good morning. It is a Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city. I am Nkamian John, the beloved, also known as the controversial, and this is Wednesday's edition of Standpoint. Today on the show, we are looking at what role do volunteers play in the issues of the unhiding truth about gender-based violence against men in the country at large. Yes, men. I know every time the word or the phrase gender violence comes up, what comes to mind is women. But today, we are focusing on the men. As we look at ways to move beyond restorative justice towards strategies of transformational justice to address gender-based violence, racism, and anti-blackness in organizations. Now, to have this conversation with me on this subject is the facilitator, Cohabitation Without Violence, the hidden sides of domestic violence and abuse, and the facilitator Unlearned, the learned, and relearn in the person of Chimezim Richard Akoobioma. Richard, it's great to have you join us this morning on Standpoint.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so volunteers play a crucial role in addressing and raising awareness about the issue of gender-based violence, especially as we focus against men. Now, what role do volunteers play in the issue of the unhiding truth about gender-based violence against men in our country, Nigeria? Now, this might sound a bit odd. As I said earlier, when you talk gender violence, everybody raises up, oh, women, girl, child, sure. women, girl, child. Sure. But against men in Nigeria.
When you say gender-based violence, we, just as you introduced me, you said cohabitation without violence. Everybody talk about domestic violence and abuse. Yeah. And in ourselves, when we look at that, we think it doesn't holistically talk about what it means. That's why we call it cohabitation. Now, that means that everybody is involved, even men. Now, looking at men, we concentrate more on men. We educate people that even men go through domestic violence and abuse, even outside the home. That's exactly what we look. And we make sure that we change the mindset of people when it comes to domestic violence. Men go through a lot. One thing that happens about men is that we don't talk.
True.
We don't come out to talk. Now, that's why people think that men don't go through violence, because when you come out and say, oh, I went through violence, and especially when it's the opposite gender, you say it's a woman, you find out that the perpetrator becomes the victim, and the victim becomes the perpetrator. So that's why most men don't come out. But now, when you talk about volunteers, on our own side, what we now do is to educate people and say, okay, this is our perspective of this thing. This is what you need to know. The hidden sides of domestic violence. It's not just about battering. There's a lot more to domestic violence and abuse than battering. When you talk about battering, you talk about scars, and believe it or not, people live with scars these days and they don't even remember that it exists. It's other persons that see them and ask, oh, what is this? What happened to you? But trust me, emotional trauma lives with someone for the rest of his life. That person can commit suicide, but battering would not get you to that. But that trauma that the person goes through emotionally, that violence emotional, it's more than, we tell people that it's even more than the battering side of it. So men go through a lot. There's a lot men go through and they don't talk. Now, when you come to the laws of Nigeria, you come to the laws of every other country, you find out that the law enforcement still don't make us understand there's actually law that covers everybody, including men. Because imagine you say a woman, maybe your wife or your girlfriend or someone beats you up, and then you go to the police station with the bruises and everything, and you tell them that, hey, I went through this violence and it's a woman. Everyone there will laugh at you and like, what are you saying?
How can a woman beat you up?
How can a woman beat you up? Now, that makes the men, you see, the statistics will not tell you, but if you go to the streets, like we had a survey in Abuja, somewhere in Jabi Lake. If you live in Abuja, you know Jabi Lake. We had a survey sometime 2 years back, and then we were asking people. To my greatest surprise, a girl actually told me that, wow, that what you're talking about is huge, but people don't see it. Now, when men come out and talk, you'll be like, are you serious? Is this what you're going through? So our law enforcement agents don't even help our cause. So when you go report, they'll be like, why are you reporting a woman? You're the man here. You see, so men now prefer not to talk. Men now prefer to keep it in them, and a lot of men, believe it or not, a lot of men have died out of domestic violence and abuse.
I agree with you because recently the case of Sentobi,
yes,
a famous actor here in Nigeria,
yes,
in Nollywood. We just heard news that he passed. Some of us who were, I could say I was a friend, not very close friend, but as a friend. I knew him growing up in Nollywood because my mom was involved in Nollywood. Okay. My younger brother still is involved in Nollywood.
Okay.
And so hearing that he passed, the first question was he ill? Was he? And later revelations began to come out that he was suffering emotional trauma, psychological trauma as a result of the things his wife put him through.
Exactly.
And the shock was, how? We thought he was our friend. How come? How? We didn't hear this. We didn't know this. And somebody said on social media that probably the shame of having to come out to say, hey guys, this is what I'm dealing with.
Exactly.
Made it that he kept it to the point that he died.
Exactly.
And I mean, that is one of two friends. I know I lost a friend like that who committed suicide about last year. We went to school together. And when we investigated, we discovered that it was as a result of psychological trauma, emotional trauma he was going through with the wife. He was going through a difficult period.
I had a first-hand information and also saw it happen. By his grace, I had to school in the UK, okay, and then I understand that when you see that environment, what men go through every day, you be like, wow. It's not like in Africa. In Africa, let me give you an instance. You lose someone today, and then a woman is crying by your side. Everybody consoles the woman. And then when the man is crying, everybody says, be a man.
Be a man.
He's human. Do you get? He's human.
Yeah.
When this thing about domestic violence and abuse against women came up popular was when we heard the case of, in the north, when we heard the case of Amina that killed the husband. And then everybody started thinking, oh, okay, she killed him in his sleep. There's a lot of men that have died like that, nobody knowing what killed them. It's actually when volunteers now come out, when we start telling you this story, when we now encourage people to talk, what would happen is the point where we create that platform for men to come out and talk, just like this platform right now. If I call 5 guys into the studio and tell them to, okay, tell us your story. Believe you me, out of the 5 men, 4 out of them have gone through domestic violence and abuse through the other gender. like in their life.
Wow.
You won't believe the statistics. But the thing is, we believe that we are the man. You know that thing about Africa? The man is the head. You cannot complain about anything.
You must not be seen to be weak.
Exactly. You're the strong one. Everybody will start seeing you as the weakling. The woman is controlling you and all that. No. Whatever women go through, men go through it also. And the funny thing is that the women know this and they've used this against us.
Wow.
That's the truth. Because a woman will be in the marriage and then she knows that, okay, there are women that are breadwinners of their family. Let's look at it that way. I had a woman that was a director in a very big company, and then the husband is a junior staff. And then what happens in that case? The woman would say, I am in charge. I tell you what to do. A lot of them have become houseboys, but they won't come out. You won't see them come out and talk.
Yeah, I think that is what has given notion to what we hear today in the context of stay-home dads.
Exactly.
Stay-home fathers, and all kinds of phrases we get to hear today.
Exactly. Don't get it wrong. We're not saying women don't go through these things, but we're trying to make people unlearn, make people relearn that men go through this also.
All right, we'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. I'm sure our listeners are like, wait, am I dreaming? Is this conversation really happening this morning on Rapid 96.5? Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Celebrating your family and friends has become cheap like a cup of tea, easy as ABC, and rapid like it should be. You can send birthday greetings and goodwill messages on Rapid FM for just 1,000 naira. Other events like weddings, child dedication, housewarmings, religious and government functions go for even less, 500 naira. Now, your loved ones have no excuse not to celebrate you rapidly on your day, because all they have to do is visit our website at www.rapidfm965.com/request or call 07049 220965.
Make you paint your house with Sackloss. The beauty go last year because Sackloss.
My guy, which kind of paint have you used? We go make my house go well.
Nah, Sackloss paint.
Paint we go make my house shine.
Sackloss paint.
What about paint we go last for plenty years?
Nah, still Sackloss paint. Sackloss paint. Now we gon' get paint when done with both national and international award on top paint matters.
I beg, where them day?
Them day nationwide. Sackloss paint get one get what they call Sackloss satin paint. If dirty touch the paint, you fit use water and soap take clean and charger. Sackloss paint get other ones like emulsion paint, test coat, gloss, sack flash car paint, matte, industrial marine coating, red oxide primer, aluminium, screening paint, auto varnish, and other Barbares products. For that correct building paint where you need, na Sackloss paint. Their price na shipping. For more information, call
0701 855 2224.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. This is beyond partisan politics. It's unfortunate. And these are the kind of people who say that leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with the happenings in the polity.
Nigeria is on drink and on oxygen. And how can we get out of this?
I am an employer of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of his family. And he must protect me.
Standpoint. The center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM, Umahia.
More Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still Standpoint on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city. I am Nkamian John, the beloved, also known as the controversial. And today on the show, we've been looking at what role volunteers play in the issues of the unhiding truth about gender-based violence against men in our great country, Nigeria. Now, focusing on ways to move beyond restorative justice towards strategies of transformational justice to address gender-based violence, racism, and anti-blackness in organizations. And I've been having this conversation with the facilitator, Cohabitation Without Violence, the hidden sides of domestic violence and abuse, and the facilitator on Learned, the Unlearned, the Learned, and Relearn, in the person of Chimezirim Richard Akko Obioma. And Richard really shed a whole lot of light on this subject. Now, addressing gender-based violence, racism, and anti-blackness in organization requires a comprehensive and ongoing effort. Now, it is crucial to foster a culture of respect, equality, and inclusivity to create a positive work environment for all employees. So, Richard, let's look at the significant issues of gender-based violence, racism, and anti-blackness that can exist within an organization. It is crucial to address these problems to ensure a safe and inclusive environment for all employees. Yes, now, this brings to mind, I think just yesterday or day before yesterday, I watched, one would say yes, it's a movie, but I watched a movie where a gentleman accused the lady of taking advantage of him, and the lady felt, what do you mean? You're the man. I was under the influence, and I mean, you could as well have, avoided me, but you also took advantage of me. But the man kept insisting, you took advantage of me, and then you can't just wake up and look at me and dump me like some filthy rag. So, sadly, this happens in workplaces.
Exactly. It does happen. This story now is something that happens every day, and people overlook them.
Yeah.
Some people will say, "Oh, please, it happens in the movies." Trust me, it happens in real life. These things happen real life. Men, just as I said earlier, you see a situation where the perpetrator becomes the victim because of gender. You see, that's exactly what happens. I am someone that I majored reward strategy, total reward strategy. And one of the ways to take care of this is when you reward people equally. But in Nigeria, we don't do a lot of total reward strategy. And rewards, go a long way to tell someone you belong here. Do you get? If the person is getting exactly the same thing this person is getting, sure, the person believes, I am part of this organization. And then when something like that comes up, we have to now take away gender and be human and be humane. I tell people it's different. There are two different things to be human and being humane.
I agree with you because I've said it on this show that every day I wake up, life asks me that question. Which do you choose? Do you choose to be human or do you choose to be humane? And every time I choose to be humane because I think it's better. It helps me relate with everyone better.
Yes.
It helps me understand humanity better.
Exactly. It makes you understand that the next person can make mistakes. It makes you understand that you don't know what the next person is going to do. So you trust that person to be human and make mistakes. And then you correct your mistakes. Do you understand? And when we talk about these things, you get to an organization where this thing happened and they look at it as gender. And say this is a man and this is a woman. And people, so many men have lost their jobs like this.
True.
A lot of them have lost their jobs for nothing, something that they are actually the victim for. And then you look at it, when the person now comes out and actually tell you their story, the funny part is, I said before that we have to create that platform where people now come out, men especially, come out and tell their side of the story. A lot of them don't get the chance to tell their side of the story just because they are men.
Okay, now you have said something. You believe in a reward system that creates room for equity,
yes,
equality.
Exactly.
Now, do we have to begin to look at aspects such as policies and procedures, especially with regards to workplace, with organizations, things like education and training,
yes,
reporting? You did talk about the fact that there is a need for men to begin to come out, begin to talk about these things, begin to expose these things. How do we begin to put these structures in place?
Well, it's not an easy one, and especially in the society we find ourselves. It's not an easy one, but it's a gradual process. One of the processes is what you're doing today. You're enlightening people, and people know that this happened. So putting in place things like this would go a long way. Now, doing that also in workplaces and making people understand that, hey, your staff is human, that goes a long way.
Well, you're talking about in Nigerian workplace where human resource, for instance, is just seen as, let it not be seen that we don't have a human resource.
Yes.
You have organizations that even outsource human resource.
Yes. So
it's more about employment, not necessarily about the well-being of the employees.
Yes.
So that this could be a difficult conversation for a business owner.
It's a difficult one because total reward strategy brings in all of this, and that way you train people. You have to train someone to, improve personally, improve himself, not just the company now. Okay, not just the company. The person is improving as human. A lot of employers don't get to do that. A lot of employees don't get those benefits, but it is a process that you have to start a gradual thing to do, you implement and all that. It's just not, there's a lot into it, but you have to do it gradually. Just like what we're talking today, the society know a lot about this. But when you continue doing this program like this,
yes,
people start getting enlightened about it. People start I can actually talk.
But doesn't that also say something about our value system, in the sense that I continually ask this question: what value do we place on the life of a Nigerian? Because like the UK, for instance, where you had the fortune of being educated, there's a value placement on what you should get as a citizen, whether it's in terms of education, whether it's in terms of security, in terms of welfare. And situations like this fall almost under that there's need for you to be able, when you feel some kind of imbalance, there's somebody to talk to, either at your place of work, because it is a requirement, a statutory requirement that every workplace must have, a HR department that offers some kind of psychological evaluation.
Yes. Psychological evaluation is one thing that is pretty good. There are a lot of persons that they go through a lot at home, and then they come to work
that baggage.
Exactly, it affects them. I give someone instance. I say a man that has a nagging wife at home, or maybe they just had an altercation that morning, and then the wife just says one word when he's leaving. He just wants to run out of the house and go to work, and then the wife just makes a last statement and says, "You will come back and meet me in this house." When he goes to work, that continues ringing in his ears. If you give him that listening ear, some persons come in at work one morning, someone at the HR department sees you and like, your face is not looking like the person you are. What's up? Talk to me. You take 10-15 minutes to talk to that person. You find out that person releases a little bit of that baggage. The person would work perfectly that day, though what happens again is that when he leaves work and he's going home, he remembers that thing and he's going, I'm going to meet this woman again. I wish I could just stay in the office. Because now he is comfortable. he has someone that has helped him relieve that stress of that baggage. You understand? So it is very, very important that our HRs in our organizations actually do exactly what they are supposed to do, not just answering HR department. They just keep them there. Let it be that we have HR department. When the evaluators come and the people come in and the government come in and the regulators and all that come in, they know that we have this department. But that department actually working. So this helps when it comes to dealing with such situations like men going through violence and all that. And when we talk this thing, a lot of the emotional is more, I keep saying it, a lot of the hidden sides are more than what you can see. Ask a regular person in Nigeria, what do you know about domestic violence and abuse? They'll tell you, now man, where man they beat woman. That's just the mentality they have. Now, when you start educating them that woman they beat man, there's a story when I was doing a survey, just as I mentioned in Abuja. A guy, he was actually my friend. I didn't know this. He made a vow at the altar and said, I will never lay my hand on my wife. Do you know that the woman was using that against him? The woman keeps, when they have a little altercation, the woman raises her hand and hits him. One day, the man just, when same thing happened, she tried it. He held the hand and said, this is a former bouncer that points a guy in front of me. He points a guy, the guy fell flat, but he doesn't hit his woman because he knows the energy he carries. Do you understand? So that day he just said, God, wait I know we had an agreement, but let's keep the agreement to one side. Let me show this woman that I'm actually a man. He said it wasn't just a slap. He dazed the woman that her jaw shifted. Wow. What happened next? Family members started calling him and you're beating your wife. You're beating your wife. You're beating your wife. Woman beater and all that. He said he didn't answer any of them. He was just waiting for one person to call him. That's somebody that understands his place in the home. That is the girl's father. The man called him and said, I heard you beat up your wife. What happened? He called him by his title name Nanyalugo and said, how many wives do you have? He said 2. He said, has any of them raised their hands against you? One day he said in Igbo, Nkahu che ye che, she knows she's dead. Do you understand? He now said, now your daughter had to do that to me. The man asked, how many times? He said, that I can count 7. The man said, she is owing you 6. That is a father to the girl that understands the place of the man. Do you understand? Now, yes, people would say, he's encouraging the man to beat the wife. No, he is trying to make the daughter understand that this is the crown over your head. You understand it? Let people not misinterpret. This is the crown over your head. You don't do this. Just because he's acting like a weakling doesn't give you that right that you're not.
Richard, I'm worried for you because I know that some of these women feminists and women right, they're going to come after you.
But the thing is this. I've always asked them. I've engaged persons that call themselves feminists. The problem we have is that most of these ladies and girls that call themselves feminists don't actually understand the meaning of feminism. That's the problem. I asked a girl one day, she said, she's a feminist and all that. I said, who's your role model? She said, Chimamanda. I'm like, do you know that Chimamanda is married, happily married to a husband that she adores, that she respects? Because you people don't understand this thing. That is why you people misconceptualize it. One thing I hate in my life is misconceptions. That is why you people misconceptualize it. If you understand what it means, it is gender equality, especially what we're saying at workplace. Give me the equal rights you give to a man because I put in effort to make this organization grow.
Yeah.
So give me that right.
Put me on the same pedestal.
Put me on the same pedestal. Let's see who's better. Do you understand? Women in workplaces can't be better than men. I've seen girls that do POP work. I've seen girls that lay blocks.
True.
And they're better than men. These are what feminists are agitating for. This is what, in politics, give us the same right you give to men. That's why they say what a man can do, a woman can do better. But we know. Let's just not go there, But seriously, they need to understand what exactly feminism means.
Yeah.
This is giving me that same right as man, not making me the head. If I always tell people, even the Bible never said a man, a woman and man. What he said about both is not the same. He never said love woman, love your
the man.
husband.
Yeah.
He says
respect him,
honor,
but gave the responsibility of loving
on the man.
On the man. Yeah.
He said, love your wife as ye love yourselves, and as Christ loves the church. The church is you. So, and he now says, woman, reverence. Some versions will say, honor your husband. He didn't say love. So, there's a lot in marriage that love is the least of anything in a relationship.
Can you please repeat that again? Because I know there are people shaking their heads. There are people like, what's he talking about? Because a lot of people think love should be the pivot. The apex. When it comes to relationship and marriage.
Love is the least. When love research, when I talk like this, people would say, are you married? You don't have this experience. Why would you be talking about
Exactly.
My dad told me that once. When I told him I do this, it's like, you're not married now. You don't know anything about this thing. Why would you be saying? No, the experience is not just in marriage. There's a lot that we've seen. There's a lot that we have friends. We see what they go through.
Yeah.
You learn from someone's mistake. You don't have to make this mistake to learn from it. You're proactive. That's the thing. So the Bible never said the woman should love the husband. There's a reason. There is a reason. It says reverence. There's a lot, funny enough, there's a lot that comes with referencing someone. It makes the person's ego come down. The person loses all his fences. That's what women don't understand.
But our women, even traditionally, are not taught to reverence their husbands. So in terms of cultural or social-cultural orientation, women are not necessarily groomed to understand that they have to reverence their husbands. They are trained more like to be support. The picture is you're a partner. You're a helper.
You're a helper.
Yeah.
What people don't understand about a helper, the helper is actually the person that holds the pillar. That's what I tell them. Women are the owners of the home. They are the ones that know what happens in the home. The man goes out and comes back. You, as a married man, you come back and you dump your boxers anyhow. Your wife is the one that will put it in place. Sometimes you start looking for your car keys. You don't know exactly where it is. It is your wife that's it. So you're the one that handles the home. You're the one that holds it. You're the pillar that people they misinterpret this thing that is called helper. You make the man understand that this family exists. Sometimes they forget that it exists. You understand? So that's the problem. You say that they are not trained to reverence their husbands. Brother, my great-grandfather, from the story we had, married 18 wives to 21 wives. That's what they told us. But how were these women able to live?
Cohabit.
How were they able to cohabit together? Do you understand? They understood that this man paid my
bride price.
We're not saying, don't get it wrong, we're not saying men should turn their wives to couches in the house, properties in the house. No. Trust me, when you make a man understand that you reference him in the house, the man becomes your puppet. The man becomes stupid. The man becomes mumu. It's the truth. His family will start saying that when you hear with a log with Judea in what they say in Igbo. Do you understand that Juju, the wife, you know, he doesn't care about us any longer. But because the woman makes him understand that he's got a family, that he exists, and he listens to her because he knows there is that wisdom in that woman's voice.
Well, it's still Standpoint on Rapid 96.5 FM. And just reminded me a part of the scripture where the Bible says Sarah called Abraham Lord. We'll take a breather, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do you think you're a fan of Rapid FM?
I love Rapid FM.
I love Rapid FM.
This is the place to be. Simply Rapid.
Knock it out on the Fan Zone with Mr. McDoney,
where you must answer more questions about what happened yesterday on Rapid FM to win the #1 title, Rapid biggest fan of the day.
Plus, you get to win other special prizes too. Amazing, right?
I love the sound of that.
Join the fan base representing your favorite shows every Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on the Fan Zone.
Fan Zone.
Fan Zone.
Exclusive to Rapid 96.5 FM.
Justy, this one where you put your hand under your jaw this early morning, wetin happen? Your goat don die.
Wake up, leave me oh. If to say my goat die, that one better oh. All the goods wey dey my shop don expire finish. No market. Since morning, I never say even 1 naira.
Hey, you never hear about Rapid FM Ahiana Market.
Ahiana Market
na Rapid FM program where we go help you tell people wetin you dey sell, how you dey sell am, and where your shop dey with just take only 1,000 naira kpere. We go carry your business and put am for the next level. Oh yeah, green us for phone with this number 080-6356-8266. Or you fit rush for Rapid FM Radio House behind New Government House Umahia, Abia State, Nigeria. Ahiana Market.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country, Nigeria. This is beyond partisan politics. It's unfortunate. And these are the kind of people who say that leaders of this country. What example are they showing as leaders of the country?
Let's keep you abreast with the happenings in the polity.
Nigeria is on drink and on oxygen. And how can we get out of this?
I am an employer of the president. I pay the president's salary. I pay the bills of the family. And he must protect me.
Standpoint. The center of all talks of politics.
Standpoint, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on Rapid 96.5 FM, Umahia.
All Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. That's right.
It's still Standpoint on Rapid 96.5 FM, the sound of your city. We are in the last lap of the show, but just to remind you that we are live and interactive on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Rapid965FM. And on Twitter, we are at Rapid965. And on Instagram, we are at Rapid965FM. Now, be part of our growing online community by following and, of course, liking Rapid 965 FM on all our social media platforms and contribute to the ongoing conversation like the one we're having right now on this edition on Standpoint. And trust us to share your views and comments right here on the show. Our shows are live and interactive. Like I said earlier, that the studio lines are open for you to contribute to this contribution. Don't forget, we're talking about domestic abuse, violence, especially against men, gender-based violence, racism, anti-blackness, particularly in organizations, and of course, the smallest unit of society, the home. The focus is on men. Like I keep saying, every time we talk about gender violence, it seems to be, it's women and the girl child. But today, we're looking at the men. And of course, my guest, Richard, has shed a whole lot of light. Probably raise some dust. Raise some dust. And so the phone lines are open. You can be part of the conversation. The numbers to call 091-60-333-965 and 091-60,000-965, and you get to be part of the conversation. Now, Richard, while we were on the commercial break, okay, I can see that the phone lines are already ringing. Let's see if we can take one or two calls before we call it a day. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, nice to have you join us. Your name and where you're reaching us from.
My name is Sosa. I'm calling from Umuahia.
Okay, Sosa. Just you make your contributions concise and straight to the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, just quick one. I'm really excited that people are having this conversation
Great.
today because there's a lot going on that people don't get to talk about.
True.
Especially when it comes to gender violence against men. So I would just say I used to have this friend. He's no more anymore. So he had this wife who was abusing him, and he couldn't say anything about it. Just because he's like, who you won't tell. If I come out and say these things, how would the society view me? Exactly. And this thing was happening not even in Nigeria, it was in the UK.
Wow.
You understand? So it's a situation where you know how the country works, where the woman is always on top.
Yeah.
He kicks him out, in the cold weather, and he calls the police on him, stuff like that. And that was going on for a long time. So, long story short, my guy passed away anyway.
Wow.
So,
and believe it or not, this contributed to it.
Exactly. So it's a lot of things. Even when it comes to accusations, like rape accusations, when a woman makes an accusation about being touched or harassed or anything, the society takes it up immediately, regardless. So sometimes, I'm not saying that men do not do these things, but sometimes someone can actually be innocent. But because the woman feels like, if I come out and say this thing, they're going to take it up.
Society will take my side.
Encouraged. Do you understand? So I'm really happy that you're saying this. I hope a lot of people listening could actually pay attention and have their mental thing checked, because it's really sad that men are going through a lot, especially in this generation.
Yeah, thank you.
Just I want to contribute.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your contribution to that.
All right.
Wow.
I said it. You won't believe if you create a platform for these persons to come out. You won't believe the response you will get. I know what I got. And when we sampled, it was just a small sample, but trust me, it was huge. We were like, wow, are you serious? And a girl actually does same thing I do. A girl, she told me, she said, we met on Twitter, and then she said, this thing you're doing is huge, and you're a guy, a lot will come after you. For her, a woman, she knows what she's getting already, and you, a guy, a lot are going to come after you.
The phone lines are open, 091-60-333-965 and 091-60,000-965. Now, Richard, here we're very religious. We're very religious people. We're Christians. We're Muslims. Even our traditional beliefs are somewhat relegated to the background because of how religious we have become.
Exactly.
what role does religion play when it comes to gender violence? Okay, let's see if we can take this call before you answer that. You react to that question. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, let me see if I can get you. Okay, hello. Yes, I can hear you from the speaker. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is Obina Riako.
Okay, Obina, nice to have you. Please make it concise, straight to the point.
Okay. I have a little story to tell.
Okay.
It's just when I was just starting life, I had a place I was working with someone with.
Okay.
A manual labor stuff. So this man ran into this place, this site. Like, I was like, this huge man running out. Then I saw a woman pursuing him.
Wow.
I was like, what's this? I had to stand before this woman and harass her. So I get out from this place, He went off. I was like, man, what is happening? Nadia, my wife, she wants to kill me, this and that. I was like, how can you tell me that a woman will beat you? So I think this is true. So
wow.
That's much about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obina. Thank you so much. I mean, live experience. And huge man and the wife.
Trust me, if you keep this phone line open, we'll probably not leave
I'm keeping it open. Another call is coming in. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're reaching us from.
Yeah, my name is David. I'm calling from Umuahia.
Nice to have you, David. Please straight to the point and as concise as possible.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Mr. Richard agreed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, the thing is, this is one of the most talked about happenings.
Yes.
In this, mostly in Nigeria, because the setting is that normally they feel is the women that have always been gender biased.
Yeah.
Been gender maltreated and all that. But the thing is, I have an experience right now where I have a friend that the friend's wife, maybe they got married in 2015. The friend's wife started cheating on him, and the thing is, he gets her every time, and just trying to be a good husband. Like the Bible says, love. He doesn't chastise her. He keeps forgiving and all that. He got to a point that she even started rubbing it on his face.
Wow.
In fact, most times you tell that he will not do anything about it, because most times when you start talking about cheating and all that, and it's now on the female side, the whole community tends to tilt towards the lady's side against you.
Yeah.
So most times you don't speak up, and most times when you speak up, she will think you're giving a verbal abuse. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, the misconception about this thing is so deep that most times some men, I have a friend too that tells me that about his wife, that he has already left anything that what she wants to do, she should just do. But for the benefit of the children, they will have to just stay married. Anyhow they see, they just do it. But if you have to be on the other side, like the man doing the same thing to the wife, and the whole world will be against the man.
True.
Yeah, but there are things that they should do. But I'm really happy. I just had to pack. I was driving to somewhere. I had to pack just to listen to this program.
Thank you for packing. In fact, that for me, that's important. Thank you for packing.
I appreciate Mr. Richard. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, amazing contributions coming on the show this morning. I almost wouldn't have believed that people would call in. But again, we are achieving the purpose. You said it much earlier in the show. It is time men begin to talk.
Yes, exactly.
It is time men begin to talk, begin to share their experiences. I mean, like I said, I've lost two people, two friends, as a result of not, keeping it inside and saying, well, society says we are the man. You can't talk about this. You can't, and it's just killing you.
Yeah. You asked a question.
Yes.
And then
what role does religion play when it comes to gender violence?
Religion plays a big role. And there was one place I went for a talk on this, a seminar, and they asked the same thing. And I tell people, I say, our religion, be it Islam, be it Christianity or whatever, aid domestic violence and abuse. And people like, how would you say that?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. Now, take for instance, this happened somewhere in Umuahia. And then the woman ran to
the church.
and then say, my husband is beating me, oh, my husband is beating me, any slightest thing, he beats me, he hits me and all that. And then the pastor and then the deacons and all that said, let's pray against this demon. Was he beating you before you people got married? He said no. The earliest stage of the marriage, was he beating you? She said no. So let's pray. Let's pray. There's a devil in him and all that. Trust me, they need to deal with the root cause of these things. Nobody would ask you, what did you do? How did he get to this? I was shocked one day. A woman came to visit my grandmother. This person I'm telling you is about 80 plus now. The woman, she asked the woman, hey, I heard you left your husband's house with your mother. What happened? He said, the man started beating me, started drinking. Whenever he drinks, he comes back. She now said, but he doesn't beat you since all this while. Why now? I said, I don't know. My grandmother said, what have you been doing?
Let's take this call. Let's hear from this caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Okay, please, can you turn down the volume of your radio set so that we can have a clean, clear conversation? All right. Have you done that? Good. Your name and where you're reaching us from.
My name is Ozo Okwara.
Okay, Ozo.
My own town is Odin.
Okay, please go straight to the point. We don't have time.
My people, next, my suggestion, maybe misinterpreted, but I'm trying to say, the second to last speaker said religion is creating the problem. And I stand on that point to say, religion is getting the problem. And this thing they call marriage counseling.
Yes.
That's what I said. If I say marriage counseling, I may be misinterpreted. But I also I stand to tell you that marriage counseling has created more problems. One is that marriage has no formula.
Okay.
It has no best way. Your own way, my own way, and a better person's way. But just like the man who commented on the mode of prayer, let us pray, let us pray. You see, all these things, even when they're referring to you that you can correct certain problems by your own intuition, you attach it to the devil.
All right.
These things have been creating problems.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate.
Let us be ourselves and then look into what I feel because, in fact, most of the lies are being peddled by the Toba line.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Richard, guess what? We're out of time. We're out of time. I really want to say thank you for making our time. We will continue this conversation. And there's a need to. It's obvious. Yeah. We need to create that platform for men to begin to talk and for us to continue to shed some light on this development with the hope that we can prefer workable solutions to help men, and women as well to be able to deal with it. So
our law enforcement people has a lot of work to do too.
So, Richard, thank you so much. Thank you. We hope that when we call on you again, you will oblige us your presence.
I'll sure be glad to come in.
Well, that's the much we can take on Standpoint. We're already running overrun our time, as the case may be. Top of the in the next minute or two will be News Track right here on Rapid 96.5. Do stay with us.
Let's talk politics, dynamics, and permutations.
It is a concern that we have for our country.